And by telling my story, it has empowered me, and I encourage other women to take this situation and turn it around and let it empower them so they can experience post-traumatic growth.
I want to thank you all for being with us, Louise Godbold, Tomi-Ann Roberts, as well as Irene Carmon. This is Democracy Now!
Blazing fires continuing to roar across California. We have the latest on the devastation.
Opioid abuse and addictions continue to grow on campuses, but UNT is taking action to
Coming up,
combat.
I'll tell you which legendary head football coach is getting honored at this weekend's game. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is NTTV Nightly News.
Thanks for joining us on NTTV Nightly News. I'm Maggie McCulloch.
And I'm Drake Lawson. Imagine New York City on fire, everything burning to the ground. Tonight, that is the size of the destruction caused by the wildfires in California.
Officials say at least 26 people are dead, but they are sure that number will rise.
For the past 5 days, more than 21 fires have burned across much of Northern California. Particularly hard hit has been the Napa Valley and the Sonoma area. But now the fires have spread even further and hundreds of new evacuations have been ordered. Over 191,000 acres have burned, and along with the rising death toll, hundreds of people are reported missing. Many have barely escaped the flames.
Thought we were okay. We really thought that the hills were going to protect us, but these winds, I know they can come up at any time.
A few clothes, a couple memorabilia, our animals, and my kids.
You just don't know what to pack. You know, you run around like crazy.
California officials say this disaster will be the worst in the state's history. The fires and smoke are so intense that they can be seen from space. Weather anchor Joe Hicks has more on that. Joe?
Yes, Drake, the video from NASA behind me and the satellite footage shows smoke across Northern California. Right now, the smoke is causing airline flights to be delayed or canceled. More than 80 flights from San Francisco were canceled this morning, and other flights are on delays between 30 and 45 minutes. Some flights are arriving more than 3 hours late. There's still no rain in their forecast, so the situation remains critical. Well, now let's move into our weather here in North Texas. As you can see behind me, it was a pretty nice day outside, 86 degrees, almost not a cloud in the sky. Felt more like 87 at points, and that wind speed of 8 miles an hour gave us a nice little breeze. As we go into tonight, it is that time of the year where it's basically twice as cold during the nighttime as it is in the day. 68 degrees will feel more like 65. Another good breeze in from the south-southeast. And as we go into tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., wake up for class, 68 degrees, not much of a change, but that wind speed is still giving us a nice breeze and pushing through a cold front or some chance of rain, actually, over the weekend. More for you on that later on in the show. Drake, back to you.
Thanks, Joe. The war on opioids has reached a new level of deadly. As opioid-related deaths continue to spread across the country, UNT has a plan to combat and fight the epidemic. For the first time since 1999, the life expectancy of U.S. citizens has gone down. And while deaths related to heart disease, cancer, and diabetes all dropped, drug-related deaths have increased dramatically. The number one cause for these deaths is opioids.
You can't watch the news and not see the opioid epidemic across the nation, and our thought process was it's inevitably going to make its way to Texas, and we would rather be ahead of the curve and prepare for a worst case scenario than to be caught off guard.
Officer Kevin Crawford says one of the ways the UNT Police Department plans on staying ahead of the curve is by requiring all of its officers to carry the drug Narcan with them at all times. Narcan is a nasal spray counteracting drug that is used on someone who is suffering from an opioid overdose.
What it's designed to do is to buy more time from if somebody was to OD on some kind of opioid, buy more time to get them the medical assistance that they need.
Tim Trail, the coordinator for UNT's Substance Abuse Resource Center, or SARC, says Narcan is not just used by officers here on campus, it's already used by all doctors and nurses with plans to expand.
I really was part of the push to get Narcan on campus. Once it started rolling, it just started rolling. So, you know, as far as everyone who's getting it, I don't even know everyone yet, but I mean, we can't have too much. That's the beautiful thing about Narcan.
While the drug Narcan is a great weapon in the fight against opioids, the war against opioids is going to be much harder to fight. In Denton alone, arrests for opioids doubled from 2015 to 2016, with total cost reaching upwards of $1 million this past year. But here at UNT, that's not necessarily the case.
It hasn't hit us like it's hit the rest of the country. We do see, but we've seen it. It's been around for a long time.
While the problem might not be out of hand now, UNT is doing everything they can to stay on top of the issue. Maggie, back to you.
Thanks, Drake. The impact of this new and growing problem is causing college officials around the nation to consider how they will respond, and UNT is taking the lead. This weekend, we'll be hosting the Rally for Recovery. NTTV's Courtney Wilson is live to tell us more about the event. Courtney?
That's right, Maggie. This is the first time that UNT will be hosting the rally, as it raises awareness and understanding for substance and mental health issues such as depression, alcohol and drug abuse, as well as binge drinking for college and university students. We're here with the program director over collegiate recovery, Amy Trail. Amy, can you tell us why this is so important right now and why it's relevant to the UNT campus?
So last month was National Recovery Month. We hosted a recovery campus here on campus. Also, that's led into national rallies, as well as the Big Texas rally that took place in Galveston. So we decided to bring it to the UNT campus to support collegiate recovery efforts all over the state. So that's why it's pretty important to have.
And can you tell us why you chose to do it on a weekend, such as a big football game?
Typically, around this time in the semester, students begin to struggle, so we wanted to make sure we brought supports and services to campus so students are aware of what's available, not just at UNT, but the community at large. And also, we want to support UTSA's collegiate recovery efforts as well as UNT's.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us, Amy. It will be taking place at Willis Library from noon until 3 p.m. and be finishing up at the Apogee Stadium. Reporting live from the Library Mall, Courtney Wilson for NTTV Nightly News.
Thanks, Courtney. Coming up, an update on the Texas Tech shooter and a program here on campus to protect our students.
And with Halloween on the way, find out if your favorite candy makes it on the top of the list. Stay with us.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. Already posted it.
Hollis Daniels, a Texas Tech student, shot an officer when being booked for drugs. The officer did not have the student in handcuffs when searching him. The fatal shooting caused a review of the police department's policies and procedures. The review will help improve safety and security.
There was not enough probable cause to search it on its own, nor to get a warrant for the vehicle. The TTU Counseling Center advised the Texas Tech Police Department the student's family had called to express concerns that the student might be in possession of a weapon and making comments about suicide.
Hollis Daniels is now charged with capital murder.
With Texas Tech and many other places preparing in the event of a shooter, UNT took an early step this past Wednesday.
Gunshots and screams, sounds that grabbed the audience attention at the active shooter training event on Wednesday afternoon, a reminder of the danger they could be in.
Every second we're delayed at stopping the bad guy is a second that they can take another life.
The session was held by UNT Police in partnership with the Office of Emergency Management. While packing a crowd, it hoped to prepare each individual after the recent shootings at Las Vegas and Texas Tech University.
We talk about the run, hide, fight, like I mentioned previously. That's what the federal government says the steps are to survive. It's a fluid three-step response, okay? It may not be just because run's the first word. The danger could immediately start in your location, and you're now in a fight stage. You need to go take those actions.
Despite reassurance and training, members of the Denton community still had questions and concerns to share.
There's so many crises that come up later than that time before or after that time.
The audience was made up of students, faculty, and people like Thomas Lilly who wanted to take the lessons and share them with others.
But I've never even thought about what I would do as an unarmed civilian in such a case. And yeah, all our questions were answered. I'm going to take what I've learned back to my department.
While they say this was a one-time community event, Officer Crawford hopes that people can save their lives the next time a threat comes their way.
Really kind of about, that's what today's training is all about. It's about the steps that you can do to save your life.
For NTTV News, I'm Alex Boos.
Well, Maggie, there were some chilly days this past week, but I don't think the Texas heat is done with us.
Unfortunately not. I did have to put my jackets away, but let's go to Joe for the weather.
Well, Drake and Maggie, I'm afraid you're right. That Texas heat is still lingering around a bit, but as you can see behind me, it was a pretty beautiful day outside today. The sun's setting right there over Apogee in the west. If we go across North Texas, you can see it was pretty consistently upper 80s, lower 90s across North Texas. 85 up in the north in Gainesville and Sherman, 86 here in Denton, 84 in Fort Worth, and 94 in Fort Worth. As we go across the state of Texas, we can see, again, similar story. 83 in Amarillo, 80 in Oklahoma City, 83 in Shreveport, 88 in Houston, and 91 in El Paso. Do not envy our friends over there at UTEP. Now, as we go across the entire country, it's a bit of a mixed bag. As you can see up here in Seattle, they're getting 51-degree temperatures, 71 in Los Angeles, 96 in Phoenix, Arizona, 86 again here in Dallas, 60 up in Chicago, and 62 in our nation's capital. Now, as we go into our 7-day forecast, there's a bit of a chance of rain over the weekend and on game day, 55% chance of rain, mainly in the nighttime. And this, as you can see, the temperature comes up, but then immediately drops on Sunday, and possibly a gradual increase over the next week. Partial cloudy chance, we'll see. We'll keep you posted, but that's all I have for you right now. Back to you two at the desk.
Thanks, Joe. 2 Denton County 9-year-old girls were honored last Wednesday for directing authorities to their homes during an emergency. NTTV's Jay Jackson has the story.
I'm Jay Jackson here in front of the Denco 911 office where 2 little girls are being rewarded for their bravery. When it comes to taking the call to action in facing of emergency, Elizabeth Yanni and Daphne Wilson joined the ranks of their local heroes.
She calls, tells me that her mother is having difficulty breathing. She's apparently an asthmatic, and she is having a nervousness, but we talked through it and got calm and got someone on the way.
Yanni used a cell phone to call 911 and spoke with Bonnie Putnam on the line when her mother had a medical emergency at home. Wilson called 911 and spoke with Jennifer Howard when her home caught on fire.
In their house, it was their bedroom, and there was still some of the family still in the house, so I worked with her to make sure we could get everybody out safely. She was very calm. She was just as great or better than some of our adult callers.
The Denco Area 911 District honored both girls with a medal and certificate. Their courage highlighted by all those who are proud.
Very proud because that's what we go to work every day to do, is to make a difference in everybody's life so that we can do better for them.
From the mouths of babes, Yanni had this to say on being awarded a hero.
I know everything is hard at times, but when you do it, you do it.
Jade Jackson, NTTV News.
Drake, do you have any superstitions?
I actually do. I do not like walking under ladders.
Well, regardless, you probably shouldn't do that anyway. Julian Esparza has more on the science behind superstitions. Julian?
That's right, guys. Tomorrow is Friday the 13th, a day traditionally known to be bad luck. But have you ever wondered why we consider Friday the 13th and other superstitions like seeing a black cat to be bad luck? Well, a study from behavior psychologist B.F. Skinner shows that superstitions are all in our heads, and humans are conditioned to avoid certain things out of fear that bad things will follow. Skinner also found that animals are susceptible to superstitions as well, even though superstitions are all in our heads. That doesn't stop many people from believing in them. I talked to some UNT students today about what superstitions they believe in.
I guess if I had to pick one, it would probably be like walking under a ladder.
For Friday the 13th, I usually try to steer clear of any ladders, any black cats. I think that horror movies are probably the worst thing to watch on Friday the 13th.
I would say black cats freak me out because I'm allergic to cats, and when I see one walk in front of me, that's a little nerve-wracking, so.
I would say broken mirrors. I broke my mirror like the first week I got here, and this semester's been real rough.
My mom says that if you go outside with wet hair, that your mouth would turn crooked.
Well, Drake and Maggie, if you happen to break a mirror or walk under a ladder tomorrow, don't worry, because these superstitions are not real and don't have any consequences. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Julian. Well, with Halloween just around the corner, it's no secret that everybody has their own preference when it comes to candy.
That's right, Drake, and it turns out there's a big difference between the most popular Halloween candy between adults and kids. According to a recent poll by Jet.com, the most popular Halloween candies for kids are Smarties, Starbursts, Twix, Nerds, Skittles, Sour Patch Kids, M&Ms, and Laffy Taffies.
Candies like Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and Hershey's Kisses were listed as favorites for adults, but weren't listed as candies that kids actually want. Interesting.
Very true. All right, guys, look out for a new sorority that's on its way to make history for UNT.
And we will come back with Jordan James at Fouts Field.
Every big thing started off small. It was just an idea. What turns a small idea into a big thing is the right people with the right skills, whether it's ingenuity, resourcefulness, or leadership. At the University of North Texas, we are helping people with these ideas learn the skills they'll need to be successful. We encourage a different kind of thinking so that you can turn your small idea into the next big thing. UNT.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
This new mom is struggling to get the skates just right. Now she's holding on for dear life.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are.
Sometimes all it takes to be a dad is remembering how to be a kid again. Take time to be a dad today.
Nation's first professional Muslim sorority is coming to UNT, and these women are confident they will leave a legacy that lasts a lifetime. Mu Delta Alpha is an up-and-coming sorority that's a little different than most. It's the first sorority for Muslim women, and its third official chapter is located right here at UNT.
Hi, my name is Moniba Ijazi, and I'm a senior here at UNT. I'm currently majoring in Business Integrated Studies with a concentration in Human Resource Management and in International Business Certification. And I'm also the president of Mu Delta Alpha. So Mu Delta Alpha was a dream that was started by our founder, Sister Samira, like 4 years ago. And she saw Greek life and saw this opportunity for sisterhood and people to come together and support each other in their goals. And she was like, we should have that, something like that. And so she's been working so hard for these past 4 years to help us develop and become who we are today. We not only want to focus on the sisterhood aspect, we also want to focus on the professional growth. So we have this sense of like getting to know each other and having this strong bond with each other, but also like in that bond, we want to help each other like reach our goals.
Mu Delta Alpha makes sure to stay true to their religious roots while still participating in normal sorority life.
We want to incorporate the values of having our lives here as being American Muslims, along with keeping our Islamic values to not like let go of what we have, but also keeping the principles, balancing both religion and school, along with our professional lives.
The sorority is not just focused on building connections, but to empower young Muslim women as well.
Also for leadership opportunities, to give a voice to Muslim women, because a lot of us, especially in the media, kind of have this perception that we don't have a voice, and we're here to like instill those values and also push people to maybe go past their comfort zone and like tarnish these negative stereotypes that we might have.
Drake, this was a terrific experience, and it will be so exciting to see how far these UNT ladies go. Back to you.
Thanks, Maggie. Well, a special ceremony for a well-known UNT football coach is happening this Saturday. Jordan James has more from Fouts Field. Jordan.
For 58 years, Fouts Field was the home of the North Texas football team. During that span, so many legendary players and coaches had the honor to wear the green and white. None bigger than head football coach Hayden Fry. In 1972, he was named the head football coach of North Texas. During that span, he compiled a record of 40-23 over a 6-year period. Despite the success, he went off to Iowa to take a head coaching job, and he won 143 games. In 2004, he became one of the newest members of the College Football Hall of Fame. This Saturday at halftime, North Texas will honor him for all that he accomplished here at North Texas and over college football. Thank you.
Thanks, Jordan. Well, it looks like our Cowboys are back in the news, Maggie.
It does look like that. Let's go to Nick Lalpius for more news on sports.
Well, that's right, Drake and Maggie. Some more tough news for the Dallas Cowboys, and Apogee Stadium will be rocking Saturday night. I'll tell you why after the break.
I understand. I know it's not your typical resume.
Okay, well.
But candidate. But I've been working double shifts just to pay for books. I've been raising my 2 little brothers. I'm determined, driven, motivated. Isn't that what you're looking for?
Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes, and you come to mine. This is it. First impression. My way in. But here's the thing. Can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Can one piece of paper really tell you my whole story? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or how anytime there was an opportunity, I was the first one to step up. Because I wasn't gonna let my life, My circumstances dictate who I was going to become. And all of that determination, commitment, drive, that's me. And that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent like me.
Well, more bad news for the Dallas Cowboys as just about an hour ago, it was announced that the 6-game suspension for Ezekiel Elliott is back on after the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals voted in favor of the NFL's suspension ruling. Now, the Cowboys will have some time to figure out the running back situation as they are heading into their bye week this weekend, but it does appear that the Cowboys will be without Zeke for weeks 7 through 12. And now the American League Championship Series is finally set as the New York Yankees become just the 10th team in MLB history to come back from an 0-2 deficit to win a best-of-5 series after they defeated the Cleveland Indians last night by a final score of 5-2. Now the Yankees will now face the Houston Astros for the American League pennant. Game 1 is tomorrow night at Minute Maid Park in downtown Houston. First pitch is at 7:08. And now here in North Texas, the Mean Green soccer team is looking for their 4th consecutive win as they host the UAB Blazers tomorrow night in Denton. Now the soccer team currently has a 9-2-2 record, and you have to go all the way back to August 27th to find their last loss on the season. Now North Texas also has 4 wins, no losses, and 1 tie in conference play this season. And I talked about it a little bit earlier, perhaps one of the biggest games in the young history of Apogee Stadium is this Saturday as the Mean Green host the UTSA Roadrunners in a critical Conference USA West Division matchup. Now the Mean Green currently sit atop of the West Division with a 2-0 conference record. The UTSA dropped their first conference game last week at Southern Miss for an 0-1 conference record. Now this game features 2 of the best offenses in the conference in Conference USA, so be sure to head out to Apogee to support the Mean Green this Saturday. And now one DFW high school football team is off to one of their best starts in more than over a decade. NTTV reporter Mallory Hartley went to Arlington High School for the full story.
Arlington High School, home of the Arlington Colts, where their football team shines above the rest. The 4-1 Colts haven't had this good of an opener since 2005. By bringing a few surprises to this young team, they continue to grow and accomplish their goals one by one, ultimately striving to reach their final goal.
Goal number 7 is to win state. We have been close before, but we hadn't done it. And this football team's hungry right now, and so our 7th goal is to win a state championship.
The last time the Colts won state was in 1957, but their change in defense may spark something new.
Giving the offense a good look. I mean, different coaches got different philosophies on what they want to do, but our job as the defense is to make offense better and just do our part. So we just come hard, practice every day, and it's how we make offense better.
Team bonding is one of the most important aspects for a team, and that's exactly what the Colts are all about.
One thing that we do is we've been doing this for a long time is we'll have O-line dinners on Wednesday nights during the season, and so we'll all get together, go to someone's house.
Although brotherhood is essential in order to be successful on the field, having a dual-threat quarterback on the team may just be an answered prayer for the Colts.
It's kind of difficult. If we are killing the men in the backfield, it's more the offensive spread now, because we can run the ball, we can actually throw the ball and run it. It's like we can do all types of things to the ball. It's a blessing, honestly.
For NTTV News, I'm Mallory Hartley.
So hopefully the Colts can keep that momentum going. Maggie, back to you.
Thanks, Nick. Well, they say every dog has his day, and this little guy proves the point. He's a shelter dog who, for one day, was king of the pound.
Meet Mickey, this 6-year-old bull terrier mix meeting his new partner for his first day on duty.
One of the shelter dogs is going to be a canine cop for the day and is going to go out with one of the La Vista police officers.
New Canine for a Day program is a partnership with the La Vista Police Department and the Nebraska Humane Society, bringing awareness to dog adoption.
It seemed like a win-win for both of us, where we could definitely continue our programs with involving our community, but also help the Humane Society find a great home for a great dog.
Oftentimes, animals that are out of this environment have a better chance of getting adopted if people see them in a normal environment rather than here.
Mickey rides up front as his patrol begins.
Buddy, we got to start tweeting this out. Get you adopted, get you a home.
Receiving his own badge at the La Vista Police HQ.
What a cute puppy.
Very true, very true.
Well, thanks for watching NTTV Nightly News.
Join us again Monday night at 6 here at North Texas Television. What?